This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Naimbag grabe, masantos siya sa labid si kayo amin, maya pabengi keka. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Mayong gabi sa tibuok Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, up to Sabah. Ito po inyong Republika, ako si Eric Espina. Alam niyo po, sa darating na Hunyo sa taong ito, ay magtatapos na po ang tinaguriang Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law. O may bago na o mas pinalawak pa sa tinatawag nating CARPER. Aalamin natin, tatanawin natin, re-revisahin natin, we will review kung ano na ang nangyari dito sa ating agrarian reform. Babalik tanawin din natin ang pagkakaroon natin sa loob ng 25 or 25 years. Ano ba ang naging karanasan ng ating Republika, ng ating Pilipinas sa pagkakaroon nitong uri ng pamamahagi ng mga lupain. Umusbong ba ang pag-unlad sa kanayunan o wika nga lalong humirap ang ating mga kababayan? Nagkaroon ba ng maraming anomalya? Siguro lahat yan ay pag-uusapan natin sa gabing ito. Ang ating pong bisita ay medyo nahirapan po akong imbitahan dahil mahiyain pong magpakita sa television. Subalit, siya po ay isang bantog na propesor. Siya po ay isang national scientist. And I'm very, very proud to have Dr. R.FABELLA of the UP School of Economics.
Magandang gabi sa inyo lahat.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Okay. You have a paper, no? Naglabas po kayo ng
Discussion paper po.
Discussion paper. Dito po sa inyong pag-aaral, in your study, you basically tackled on agrarian reform covering the past 25 years. Initially, in your findings, what have you come up with?
Well, very sad outcomes.
Okay.
Fact of the matter is, at the moment, our concern as a nation is poverty reduction.
Yes.
And that is also one of the targets of agrarian reform law.
Okay.
Part of the vision of the agrarian reform law. So, isa sa mga bagay na tinignan ko is the poverty impact of CARP.
Yes.
And nakakataka kung bakit ukol sa survey na ginawa mismo ng gobyerno, ang tawag ay ALDA, ang poverty incidence sa agrarian reform communities.
Yes.
Ang agrarian reform communities ay consist of agrarian reform beneficiaries na kinumpuni ng gobyerno para matulungan. No? Ang poverty incidence sa agrarian reform communities is 54%. Eh, ang 54% nakakatakot.
Yes.
Kasi
It's alarming.
sa 2000, nung 2009 na lang, ang poverty incidence among farmers, pangkalahatan among
Yes,
farmers,
yes.
was about 36%.
Okay.
So, ang nakakataka is, ano ba, lalo bang naging purang agrarian reform beneficiaries?
Okay.
You must remember na ang agrarian reform communities, ang members ng agrarian reform communities consists of only 54% of agrarian reform beneficiaries.
Okay.
46% ng agrarian reform beneficiaries hindi members ng agrarian reform communities.
Okay.
Ang agrarian reform communities, ang punteriya ng mga government as well as NGO funding.
Yes.
So ang dami nilang natatanggap na hindi natatanggap ng agrarian reform beneficiaries sa labas.
Okay.
Ngunit ang poverty incidence nila is already 54%.
Bakit ganun ang nangyayari?
Yun ang isa sa mga bagay-bagay na tinanong ko rin
Okay.
at hinanapan ko ng katanungan ng kasagutan.
Okay.
No? But why is it that beneficiaries may actually have become poorer
Yes.
than the norm among farmers?
Yes. Okay.
And marami kasing mga tawag natin design flaws ang ating CARPER.
Okay.
Maraming design flaws ang ating CARPER. No?
Okay.
Isa sa mga design flaws is what I call entrepreneurship myth.
Okay.
Ang myth ng entrepreneurship, no?
Okay.
Ang myth ng entrepreneurship pag binigyan mo ng lupa itong tenant, kaagad magmo-morph siya
Okay.
na balay isang businessman entrepreneur.
Okay.
Hindi, alam naman natin na entrepreneurship at saka ang pagiging negosyante
Yes.
ay
Kailangan tinuturo.
hindi sa lahat,
Hindi
you are
angkop sa lahat.
hindi angkop sa lahat.
Hindi hiyang.
Oo. There is such thing as selection.
Yes.
In a community, somebody will sprout as entrepreneur and a successful businessman.
Oo. May iba pumapalpak nga eh.
Oo,
Yung
may
iba gusto maging negosyante pero papalpak.
They already select themselves, humapalpak pa.
Oo.
Ang agrarian reform, ang CARP natin,
Oo.
ang CARP natin ay bali ang assumption is lahat na magiging beneficiary, magiging by the same token, magiging entrepreneur and businessman. Alam mo, ang hirap ng maging businessman.
Okay.
Hindi madali. Alam ko, mayroon akong kakilala, si President Emil Javier. No?
Okay, okay.
President ng UP.
Yes,
no?
yes.
And for a long time with Los Baños.
Yes.
He said he was tending a farm of about 24 hectares.
Yes.
And sabi niya, for a good long time, I couldn't make any money.
Okay.
Sabi niya, with all my scientific background and all the benefits of Los Baños and its training and its people, it's very hard. You have to, as an entrepreneur, you have to make a decision about when to plant, what to plant, how much fertilizer, where to get financing, that's the most important, when to harvest, and the people to hire to work for you.
Yeah.
And if you're not trained, if you don't have this temperament to do that, medyo mahirapan ka.
You're now management in short.
You are.
You're now management. You're no longer labor. Okay.
You have to learn on the job, and when you're learning on the job, 99% will probably be washed away. Okay. So that is what I call the entrepreneurship myth. Kasi the usual market system, self-selection is very important. Self-selection. In other words, you decide to do something, but even on top of that, only a few of you will be
Yes.
will be chosen to win the game.
Yes, yes.
So you cannot expect a group of people who are given lands to stay as or to operate as entrepreneurs and succeed.
Yes. You cannot have it both ways.
You cannot have it both ways.
Okay.
And so eventually what's going to happen is, itong mga taong to, they will go underground.
Okay.
Isasanla.
Okay,
Isasanla.
that's what you mean underground. Isasangla nila.
Isasanla nila because that's not allowed. If you haven't paid,
Yes, bawal yun eh.
bawal. If you haven't paid
Yes.
fully and before 10 years of award, bawal yung gano'n.
Bawal, yes, oo.
So isasanla nila yon. So,
Utay-utayin nilang isasanla yan, dahan-dahan nilang
Oo.
ibebenta. And is that what is happening on the ground?
on the ground, one can safely say, on average, in some villages, 100%. In some other villages, maybe 25 to 30%.
Okay.
And maybe on average, 50% have effectively pushed their lands to underground operators.
Okay.
These underground operators are consolidators,
Okay.
but doing it underground, and of course in the process, the transactions cost is very high associated with these exchanges. No?
Is
Kasi
it
underground
possible
siya.
they say that part of the failure is because government does not provide them the necessary capital? Nandyan na yung lupa, dapat bigyan din ng capital.
Oh.
Well, the more extreme point of view saying, you already gave them the land, don't make them pay for it. Make it free already. So these are the 2 points. What do you think?
Well, first of all, let's understand that government cannot do everything.
Correct.
Governments have a lot of things on their plate,
Correct.
and they have alternative use for government resources, of
Yes.
scarce government resources. So, the reason why financing cannot be had
Because?
is because of the law.
Okay.
The law says, Section 27 says,
Okay.
you cannot truck and barter land,
Okay.
awarded land,
Oo.
before 10 years and before you're being fully paid.
Oo. That's supposed to prevent precisely the underground.
The underground.
Okay.
Second, Section 6 of the law says the ceiling on land ownership in the Philippines is 5 hectares.
Yes.
Okay, so these two sections or provisions are very, very
Prohibitive.
distortive. Prohibitive talaga.
Okay.
Kasi may inaward ako na lupa. Gusto
Okay.
kong financing.
Oo.
The normal way of doing that is to go to the bank.
Yes.
The bank will give you loan, and as in the old days, the
Yes,
government
yes,
gives
yes.
you loan.
Oo.
If you don't pay, then
Parang
the
crop loan nang mangyari dyan.
crop loan. If you don't pay, then the bank will expropriate.
Yes.
But the bank is not going to be able to expropriate
Kasi
more
bawal.
than 5 hectares.
Okay, yes.
Cannot own more than 5
Yes,
hectares.
oo.
So if it already has 5 hectares, chances are it's not going to give loans
Yes.
to itong mga beneficiaries na ito.
Yes.
So the 5 hectare ceiling is very, very, very prohibitive, actually. So what happens is, where do you get financing if you don't have any financing? You say, well,
How about government GFIs?
GFIs
Yes.
will come to the picture.
Yeah.
But as I've said, government can only do so much.
Hindi kakayanin.
Government have other priorities.
It's overextending itself. This is what you're saying.
It's overextending.
Okay.
No. If there is no provision, Section 6 and Section 27,
Okay.